In this video, I just wanted to talk about lead generation with Facebook and Instagram, just specifically for goldsmiths and jewelry brick and mortar shops. If you're not a goldsmith and jewelry brick and mortar shop, it's not going to, this video is really not for you because I'm going to be talking specifics in this one. So, the biggest problem in the goldsmith industry, in the jewelry in general shop industry, is not having enough customers. This is the majority of the shop's problem. The reason I know this is that when I was at university, we made with the group a huge survey just in Sweden about all the jewelry and the goldsmith shops. Obviously, in that category, it entered stone setters and stuff like that, even silversmiths, but in general, jewelry shop owners. And we asked in the survey one question. We asked, in your experience running your shop, which is the number one most difficult thing about running your business? Number one, just give me one. 100% of all of them that responded, obviously. We had a huge list and we sent emails to all of them, SMS to all of them, stuff like that. But out of all that list, 100% of the people who answered back to us were, well, they said that the number one biggest problem was to get customers, right? And the reason why is that it's weird because people really want jewelry. Just to give you an example, how people get when they see jewelry is that when my sister found jewelry, my mom bought some jewelry, some gold, and she bought bangles for herself. Now, my sister found out and she wanted to try the bangles on, but the bangles were made of gold, obviously, and they were solid, which means obviously they cannot adapt to how big your hand is, right? And her hand was bigger than the bangle itself. So what she did is that she spent about 6 hours. She found out at like 8:30 a.m. She spent until 2, 3 in the afternoon trying to get the bangle in her hand, right? She put oil, she put I mean, I don't know even what she put, but she was trying everything. Like that's how people get when they see jewelry, right? So people want jewelry, but for some reason, getting customers is the number one biggest problem in the goldsmith industry. So many people like, for example, rings, chains, like my sister, bangles, but they kind of stay at home, scroll on their phone, and they are looking on very cheap e-commerce Chinese junk websites for jewelry, right? And they are not really looking for that masterclass piece, goldsmith product, right? The number two thing is that obviously if you don't have enough customers, it means traffic is slow. There are not enough people walking into your shop, right? Which is weird because most people want jewelry, right? And then number three is that jewelry stores in general, with goldsmith stores, with stone settings, silversmiths, all that bunch, right? They rely way too much on word of mouth, right? How they kind of start is they tell friends and then they kind of wait in their store. And then once every couple of weeks, maybe even months, they just hit up their friends again and say, "Hey, by the way, I'm still doing this, and we have this promotion for friends and family." Obviously, they give out this promotions for friends and family, and that's the way they get customers. And they are a little bit proud of, oh, I get customers this way. This is the way I get customers, right? But the result is very low foot traffic, right? It's not resulting in every single day 16 appointments scheduled that are going to walk in that day, right? Doesn't result in that. So traffic is slow. People want to buy their jewelry, but no customers. Also, goldsmith stores rely way too much on word of mouth, which is okay. You can say that word of mouth is a good sign that your products is good. Very true. Obviously, if your products are shit, you won't have word of mouth. So yes, you can be proud of having word of mouth. It's a great thing, but you need a reliable pipeline to get customers. If obviously you want to go into your shop on Mondays, and then have a list on your phone, right? You grab your phone and you have a list, and you have a list of 16 people that have scheduled for that day. And you know that at least 16 people are going to walk in that day, and you're going to be able to sell them. Like, that's a very different feeling, right? Instead of word of mouth. That's a very different feel. Obviously, there are systems for word of mouth on the back end, but that's another story, and that's not really what we're talking about here. So another problem is that local people don't know you exist, which is a interesting thing to understand, because let's say you have been in your store for you have been running your business for 5 years. It in our brain, it's obvious that people know we are there. We are there. I mean, there's the sign there. We have run social media ads, Google search ads, PCP ads, pay per click. We have done all these things, but the reality is that most people, even in your local area, don't know that you exist. Even in your local area, forget about the whole city, right? So that's another reality, right? Most people don't know you exist. So I'm going to talk about the solutions for this in a bit, but these are the big problems, right? And number 5 is that ads do feel confusing and risky. This is why, right? So, for example, if you go to Meta, at least this was my first experience, and what I've heard from most Goldsmiths is that it is really not user friendly. That was my experience, right? And I've also heard from Goldsmith shop owners that they just feel it's so confusing that they don't even understand the tracking. What the hell is a pixel? What is that? How do you install it? How does it work? How do you get the information? How do you reliably track this? It takes way too long to get leads, and then they don't work. They don't actually become customers. So I just paid Meta $500 and nothing came in. Like, what's going on, right? So it feels confusing. It feels risky. Now, obviously, Google Ads are a little bit more user friendly, but we run Meta ads because they just work infinitely better, right? That's the truth about the thing. That was definitely my experience as well when starting to run Meta ads like a couple of years ago. Is that I had no it's so big. You had the ad manager, you had the business suite, you had the tracking, you had the columns, you had the sets. Oh my god, the campaigns, then the ad sets, then the ads themselves, and it's 3 different things in a huge bundle of things. And then how do you track it? Well, you have to install a pixel. What the fuck's a pixel? Right? There's a lot of things. And then if you don't want an instant form, right? You have to install the pixel. If you do want an instant form, you're gonna have to connect that instant form to a Google Sheets. How do you connect it with a Google Sheets? You have to use Zapier now. It's another software. Oh my god, you have to pay for it. Oh fuck. Right? Like, it feels confusing. It is confusing, and it feels risky. It is risky, right? But here's the thing. Solving the problem of not getting enough customers will most likely, in the most easiest and mechanized way, be solved with Facebook and Instagram ads, right? They reach local people very, very well. They are really effective when done right, right? And you don't actually have to spend an enormous amount of money like you do on Google. Google pay-per-click ads, extremely expensive, right? Because obviously they're hyper targeted, and uh, you know there are a bunch of things with Google, right? But PCP ads are very, very expensive. Facebook ads aren't, right? So the beautiful thing about Facebook ads and Instagram ads is that they stop strangers from scrolling, right? If you obviously make the ad right, is that you will be able to reach an enormous amount of people. On Google, you won't. You only will be able to reach the people who are already looking for you, which is a very small subsegment, right? On the other hand, on Facebook and Instagram, you'll be able to just reach the entire fucking world, right? So you shouldn't be able to reach the entire world, but you should just obviously be targeting your local place. But you are able to, right? So you're just entering marketing into a way bigger pool. That's it. That's all what's happening. Okay. Then the beautiful thing about Facebook and Instagram is that you are able to advertise with pictures. And by nature, the goldsmith industry, the jewelry industry, by nature, is a very visual nature. It's a very visual industry. Obviously, it's jewelry, right? So people love to see, for example, unboxings. This is something you will be able to run perfectly well with on Google Ads, on Facebook Ads and on Instagram Ads. You will literally be able to take your best organic content that you post for free, that got engagement, got even conversions, right? Grab that, put it in an ad, put a hook, put a CTA, done. Run it. It's a killer ad. You'll be able to do those things with Facebook ads, Facebook and Instagram, meta ads in general, right? Now, the nice things about Facebook ads is that if you set it up correctly, obviously it's super simple setup, but but when you set it up correctly, you will get leads. Leads are sh- strangers, complete strangers on the internet, right, that are just scrolling through their phone in your city, in your local place, yeah, in your local area. They're just scrolling on Facebook, on Instagram, and then they just see your ad, click on it because they really like what they see, and then they give you their contact info so that you, the shop owner, can call them up and sell them jewelry. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing, right? So you will be able to collect leads with Facebook ads. Now, I always say this example because it's a very difficult thing to go into your shop and one day, 2 days, 3 days, no one walks in. It's a difficult thing, right? Even if you sell expensive jewelry on the fifth day and that kind of gets you up, it's much better to have a list of 16 people that will walk into your shop and you will consistently be able to sell them, right? Now, obviously, at some point, it won't be you, it'll be your team, right? If you have consistent lead flow. And that's the beautiful thing about lead flow. If it's consistent, you will be able to build a team, right? That actually does the advertising for you, does the selling for you, and then does the delivering for you, right? You will be able to grow. Now, the thing about lead flow is that it gives you this cushion that you will be able to grow your business with, right? Because business is not very reliable, it's not very consistent if volume is insufficient. So, for example, obviously, all goldsmiths have gone through this, that 1 week they have sales, 2 weeks they have zero sales. Right. So it's very, very inconsistent, and it's very difficult to hire people if you don't know if you're going to be able to eat next week. Right. So that's the fucking problem. So the thing about lead flow is that 16 people will walk in tomorrow. 16 people will walk the day after tomorrow. These people will walk in. Right. You have a cadence of an enormous amount of volume that you did in marketing, in Facebook, running Facebook and Instagram ads, that you will have leads, right? You will have people on your phone that want your stuff, that you will be able to press a button, call them, sell them, right? Book an appointment, and that's all, obviously, right? Now, here's the thing. Meta ads bring people into your store because meta ads, you will be able to show on meta ads all of your offers. That's cleanings, resizings, special deals on holidays, everything, anniversaries. You'll be able to show everything on meta, everything, and visually, right? That's the point, visually. Now, the also nice thing is that when you run lead generation ads on Facebook and Instagram, is that lead forms are super, super easy for the leads to give you their contact info. There are some processes where the lead has to go through a verification process, authorization process. Then they have to go through your homepage, find somehow your product. If they don't buy, they fuck off. Like, there are processes like this of lead generation. On the other hand, on Facebook and Instagram, it's super easy. They click on the ad, they give you their info, you call them, you sell them, they walk into your shop, you sell them high expensive stuff. They leave, they are super happy, they leave your review, and then you get to do with them again and again. You'll be able to sell them again and again. It's a very nice process. It's super, super simple, right? You can also run messenger ads. I personally don't do that. We just focus on a feed and story ads. We've just seen it works better. And frankly, we are not really good at messenger ads. So I would be able to say, oh, these are the 10 tactics. Sorry, 10 tactics to get Messenger ads to work. Honestly, I haven't been able to get them to work. I have done an enormous volume of them and I haven't got better. So, what we are good at is feeds and story ads because we know we will be able to get you 16 leads every single day, given this amount of volume, right? Volume is just the amount of creatives that you're testing, the amount of hooks that you're testing, the amounts of headlines that you're testing, the amounts of shitty ads that you're deleting, and the amounts of good ads that you're duplicating. That's volume. Okay. That's super easy. Now, I've read a study that says 70, I think it was 73%. Yeah, 73% is by Stanford, right? The study is by Stanford. And it says in the jewelry industry, goldsmiths are disproportionately involved in the repair process of the jewelry, not in the actual making and selling of completely new jewelry, which means 73%. At least, I don't know if it's like this in each individual shop, but industry trends in general shows that goldsmiths are way more involved with the repair aspect of the jewelry business, right? Though the nice thing about Meta Ads is that you can also advertise repairs, which most people want. Obviously, 73% of all Goldsmith sales are repairs. So you will be able to advertise your repair offers on Facebook and Instagram visually, which will just hook the viewer and hopefully obviously get an enormous amount of leads consistently, because that's kind of the main point, right? If you get 50 leads one day and then 0 leads for the next 2 weeks, useless, right? It's You're supposed to get 20 leads every single day, be able to book, I don't know, 15 of them, 10 of them walk in, and then you sell like 5 every single day. Obviously, that's an enormous amount of volume, right? But with time and with consistency, obviously catered with volume, together with volume, sorry. Those are the sort of results we have seen that Facebook and Instagram ads deliver for Goldsmith shops.